Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Belle again. So today, we're going to talk about Trump's grand jury move failing and why. In a 31-page ruling, U.S. District Judge Paul A. Engelmeyer said that the much sought-after grand jury information would remain secret. Trump's Department of Justice pushed the request in a half-hearted attempt to appease their base, who wants more information about the Epstein case. So as a token to get them to stop asking, Trump directed the AG to obtain the release of any and all pertinent grand jury testimony. When we talked about it at the time, we said it was unlikely to provide any new information because, as we understood it, there wasn't much brought in during the proceedings. The judge indicated more information was presented during Maxwell's trial. Referring to the single-day grand jury proceedings, he said, quote, "On that day, it heard testimony from one person, a law enforcement agent who, acting as a summary witness, testified to information obtained in the government's investigation to support the charges in the proposed indictment." He went on to say that, quote, "Its entire premise that the Maxwell grand jury materials would bring to light meaningful new information about Epstein's and Maxwell's crimes, or the government's investigation into them, is demonstrably false." He specifically indicated there was no client list in the materials, and that the materials did not identify any other person as having contact with a minor. So, as we noted initially, this is unlikely to satisfy those wanting, well, mostly that exact information. But this prompted another question. Quote, "I don't understand. Why are grand jury materials secret anyway? Why isn't this information released?" Okay, so there's the standard legal answer that you hear from judges. Stuff like the judge said in this ruling. It might make people believe their testimony wouldn't be kept secret, because it wouldn't, which might discourage witnesses, or it might taint a jury pool if it came out too early, or it might jeopardize investigations, and so on. But there's also another reason. Every not guilty verdict that has ever existed. Saul Walkler, the former chief judge of the New York Court of Appeals, is famous for his statement that a grand jury would indict a ham sandwich, and later said that grand juries, quote, "operate more often as the prosecutor's pawn than the citizen's shield." Generally speaking, in most cases, there is no defense at a grand jury. The information is pretty one-sided. If grand jury proceedings were made public, they would quickly become a method by which politically minded prosecutors could release negative information about an opponent that would have an effect in the mind of the public, but would never have to be truly demonstrated in court. It's also worth noting that in most cases, the grand jury information doesn't contain new information. Or, as the judge wrote in this case, there is no there. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.